Hi guys, you're welcome to another tutorial on Sew with Abby channel. In this video we'll be learning how to make the simple dress which has a v-neck line, 3/4 turn-up sleeve, drawstring at the waist and pocket illusion. If this video is all you're interested in, then keep watching. Let's get started. For this tutorial, these are the materials I'll be making use of, and for my fabric I have crepe fabric here, which is 2 yard, though I wouldn't advise you to use 2 yard guys because it was barely enough. So 2.5 or 3 yards depending on the body size should be okay, and if you are making the longer version of this dress, 4 yard upward should be okay depending on the body size again. Now I'll go ahead to fold my fabric into two because the back and the front pieces will be cut separately, and I'm cutting the back piece first. Then I'll place my tape at the edge of the fabric, which signifies the shoulder line, and start taking the vertical measurements. My bust point first, which is 11 inches, then my waist, which is 17 inches, and my hip, which is 26 inches. Then the length of this dress, how long I want this dress to be, and then I'll add 1 inch stitching allowance. The length I made use of here is 34 inches plus 1 inch stitching allowance, which made it 35 inches. Now I'll draw straight lines across. From the center fold, I'll measure my shoulder measurements divided by 2, which is 8 inches. Now this is a cut together dress, so still from the center fold, I'll measure my sleeve length, which is 23 inches plus 1 inch for M allowance, making it 24. Then I'll connect the point to the bust point line. Now I'll come to the sleeve length and come down by 1 inch to form the shoulder slope, and then I'll draw a line to connect the point. Alright guys, so the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the neckline. The width I'm working with is 3 inches and the depth is 1 inch. Don't forget we are cutting the back piece first. Now I'll start taking my round measurement. The first is the bust circumference. My bust measurement divided by 4. Then I'll add 2.5 inches. 1.5 for ease allowance because this is a free dress, then 1 inch for stitching allowance, that is why it is 2.5. Then I'll measure the same measurement on the bust line at this waistline because it is a free dress and it is the drawstring that will make it tight. Next I'll take my hip circumference divided by 4, then I'll add the 2.5 inches there as well. So now for the hem of this dress, whatever I have on the hip line is the same thing I'll measure at this hem. Then I'll connect the dots. I'll come to the bust point line and come down by 2 inches. This is to shape the sleeve. Alright guys, this is basically all for this back piece. Now I'll go ahead to cut it out. Alright guys, we have the back piece. Now I'll go ahead to fold another piece of this fabric into two to cut out the front piece, and then I'll add extra 1 inch at the center. This is just like you adding zipper allowance to your dress. Okay guys, here we have our front piece and I added the extra 1 inch, which I'm cutting off the excess fabric later. For the neckline, the width is the same but the depth is 3 inches, not 1 inch like the back piece. This is all for the front piece and I'll go ahead to cut it out. Now I'll come to the side hem here and go up by 1 inch. Then I'll create a curve because I don't want the side to be entirely straight. Okay guys, we are done cutting and the next thing to do is to start stitching. So the first part I'm going to stitch is this 1 inch. I'm going to stitch it from the hem all the way up, but then from the neckline I'll measure 5 inches down. That is where the stitch will stop. Note that this 5 inches isn't fixed. You can decide to come down by 7, 8 or 9 inches depending on how deep you want the neckline to be. So I will stitch and stop at that 5 inch mark. Okay guys, I'm done stitching and this is what I have. I'm going to use hemming gum to lay this allowance flat later. For this slit, I'll be folding it in a little more than the 1 inch allowance I left for it because I want it to have the V-shape effect. The next thing to do now is to mark where the pocket illusion will be. So from the shoulder, I marked 17 inches. Although when I wanted to stitch, I made it 18 inches because I want the drawstring to be at 17 inches, which is exactly my waistline. So the pocket illusion should be at least 1 inch below your waist. Then from the center line, I'll mark 2.5 inches on either side of this dress. Then draw a straight line to make it easier when I want to place the pocket. Now I'll set this dress aside and work on the pocket. Okay guys, this is the piece for the pocket and I'm folding it into 4. For the width, I'm using 5.5 inches plus ½ inch stitching allowance, and the length is 4 inches and I had a stitching allowance as well. So I'll go ahead now to cut it out. Then I'll head over to the sewing machine to have the sides stitched and then the upper part. Alright guys, I've had it stitched and this is it. So I'm going to turn in the upper part and place it right on the mark like so. Then pin it down so it won't move from the mark, and then I'll do the other side like this as well. Now I'll head over to the sewing machine to stitch it. Okay guys, I've had it stitched and this is what I have. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to join the shoulder. So I'm placing the back piece on each right side facing each other. I'll stitch it using ½ an inch. I'll do the same to the other shoulder. After joining the shoulder, I'm going to hem the sleeve with the 1 inch allowance I left for it while cutting. Okay guys, I've stitched the shoulder and I've hemmed the sleeve, and I also went ahead to cut out the pieces for the fold over of the sleeve. You know the sleeves are turned up, so these are the pieces I'll be using for it. The length is 5 inches and the width is 1 inch. So I'll turn the sleeve to the wrong side and then measure 5 inches from the hem and place it right on the mark. Then I'll use pin to hold it down. Take it to the sewing machine and stitch, and I'll do the same to the other side as well. Okay guys, I've attached it to the dress and this is it. I also did the same to the other side and I went ahead to join the side of the dress together. The next thing to do is to mark the line where I want the drawstring to be. I want this drawstring to be at the waist. So I've turned the dress to the wrong side and I'm going to extend the line at my half length, as you can see, and then I'll extend it to the front as well. That is where the channel for the drawstring will be, and this is the piece I'll be making use of. It's about 2 inches wide and long enough to go around my waist. So I'll be stitching it at the upper part and at the lower part around the waist of this dress. Okay guys, I'm done stitching and this is what it looks like. And the next thing I'm going to do is to turn this dress to the right side and create holes on each side of the center line. So I'm going to create holes for this drawstring to pass through. Now for these holes, you can make use of eyelets to secure the edges. This is the piece I'm using for the drawstring and I'm just going to insert it into one of the holes and it will come out at the other end. So guys, this is it. All you need to do is to draw the string to tighten it to your desired waist measurement. The next thing to do now is to work on the neckline. I want to cut the collar, so I'll measure what I have at the neckline first. I'll measure the neckline round. Here I have 16.5 inches, so I'll set this dress aside so that I'll be able to cut the collar. I'm using this paper to illustrate the collar before I cut on my actual fabric, and it is on fold. I measured 16.5 at the neckline, so I'm dividing the 16.5 into 2. I'm not adding stitching allowance here, I'm adding it on the actual fabric. From the edge of the paper, I'll go up by 1 inch. Then I'll slant from the baseline back to the 1 inch, like so. From that area, I'll go up by 1.5 inches. This is the height of the collar. Then I'll connect the points together. Now this is the center front of the collar. This is the part that will go into the center front. So from there, I'll go back by 1 inch and then I'll cuff it because the collar is not straight at that center front. So this is all for the collar. I'll go ahead now to cut it out. So guys, this is the collar, and as you can see, it's kind of coffee. If you cut it straight, it will not relax properly on the neckline of your dress. Now I will cut on my fabric. This is my fabric and I've gone ahead to iron stay on it, and I joined it at the middle because the fabric was not enough. So I'll place my collar on it here, I'll pin it down, and then I'll cut. I'll add extra inches on all the sides for stitching. I will head to the sewing machine now to stitch the upper part and also the side. Okay guys, I've had the upper part and the side stitched, and I went ahead to iron in one edge of the collar. Next thing to do is to fix the collar on the dress. So go ahead and notch the center back of your dress and also the center back of your collar. Then attach it together, right side facing each other, round the neckline. So I'll head over to the sewing machine to stitch. Then after stitching, I'll use the other part of the collar to cover it up and top stitch. Okay guys, I've stitched the collar and this is what I have. I also went ahead to hem the down part of this dress. For the turn up of the sleeve, I'll be using button to hold it down. And with that, we've come to the end of this video. Thanks for watching. I hope you find this video helpful. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you are yet to subscribe to this channel, kindly subscribe and turn on the bell notification so that whenever I post new video, you'll be notified.